Okay, so we're back out on the water here in Butler Bay. We're doing video number 2 of our Butler Bay series out on the west end of St. Croix. Evan, what are we diving today?
So during this part 2 video, we're going to be filming and narrating at each shallow wreck. There's about 5.
Yeah, there's 5 out there. So if you haven't seen part 1 on the Butler Bay Ridge, check that out. We'll link above here. And then we're going to be doing the deep wrecks as our 3rd video. But join us on this dive as we go out and find 5 wrecks in roughly 40 feet of water.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep kicking. All right, we're continuing our kick out here. It's about 350 yards out to the wreck site.
Yeah.
We got Sara with us today.
Wouldn't miss it.
Wouldn't miss it. Yeah, it's a healthy swim for sure, but it's a pretty perfect day for us to do it. There's not much as far as swells go. There's very little current going on. This site can be prone to both of those, so you got to watch your day out here for sure. Most people dive this site by boat. There's several dive shops in Frederickstead that have
easier
boats.
on a boat.
A little bit, yeah. The swim is certainly shorter.
Yes. Agreed.
Absolutely, yeah, really. Yeah, most people dive this from boat. There's a mooring ball out here at the dive site, so that's actually going to be our descent line today. We're swimming out here. Some people do it from shore with a kayak, or I've seen people paddleboard out here with dive gear.
Yeah. Sure.
So all kinds of ways to get out to the site. Cool. All right, well, let's keep going. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're coming up on our dive site. Just about 50 yards behind us here is the mooring ball. It's attached to the stern section of our first wreck, which is the Northwind. It's a tugboat, and we'll tell you all about it once we get underwater. But if you come out to this site, a couple of things to keep in mind. The swells do get kind of large out here at times, and there are definite currents that need to be contended with. So got to really kind of pick your day. Again, there's lots of dive shops in town that'll get you out here on a boat, nice and safe with a good dive master. But we're kicking it today, almost there. What do you see down there, Evan?
Nothing.
Nothing? Keep looking. All right, we're at the mooring ball. Visibility looks fantastic. You can see the wreck lying in 40 feet all the way from up here at the surface. We're just gonna see if we can grab the end of the line and tie off our float here. Okay, thank you. All right, we're at the mooring here. We're gonna tie off our float. Just have to remember how to tie a bowl in. If we get a good one here, it should float should be here when we get back. All right. You guys can inspect the knot there. I think that's right. Anyway, stay to the end of the video. See if we keep our float with us today. I just tie off the bitter end here as well, just for good measure. But why not? All right. Let's get the camera and head down.
Okay, we started our descent down here. Really quickly, the Northwind is coming into view. You can see the entire wreck, even from just a few feet below the surface here. So the Northwind here sits at about 40 feet of water, faces an east-west direction. It's just an amazing artificial reef. She's almost completely intact and exposed here. She was sunk in 1986 after being used as a movie prop in the made-for-TV movie Dreams of Gold, the Mel Fisher story, where he searches and finds the wreck of the Etosha and resalvages the treasure. So as we swim past the pilot house, we can see that some of the structure has been rusted away. But down here at the stern, that line down at the end is the mooring ball that we used as our descent line. We're going to swim down to that. So we're down here on the sandy bottom. checking out the prop. It's completely exposed and covered in life, just like most of the rest of the wreck. Absolutely amazing to look at. From here, we're going to change direction and do a short swim over to some truck chassis. So the truck chassis are coming into view. There's probably about 5 in total down here. They've got some good growth on them as well and are really neat to kind of check out. Altering our course from the trucks, we're going to head and swim over to the Aegir habitat. So the Aegir habitat is about 30 feet long. It has 2 cylinders, one on each end, and a big sphere in the middle with a hole cut out the top. You can actually swim through it from end to end and explore it. It's absolutely a neat thing to do. It was brought here from Hawaii to replace the NOAA Hydro Lab from Salt River, but they lost funding, so it was scrapped. And this section here was submerged in Butler Bay. So if we're coming out of the Hydro Lab here, we're going to kind of change our course to the right and go find the largest wreck down here. So about 50 meters from the Aegir habitat is the Virgin Islander. This thing is absolutely massive in the distance. The Virgin Islander by far is the largest wreck out here in Butler Bay. It's about 300 feet long, at least about 80 feet wide. It's a giant rectangle. You can't miss it. It was sunk in 1991 and faces an east-west direction, the same as the Northwind. You can see the interior through some of the cuts on the deck, and there's a little bit of growth and life on there as well. So looking back, we can really see how large that barge is. It just looks so ominous looming back there in the distance. Now we're going to take another heading here and swim over to the Suffolk Maid. Coming over the stern section here, we can see that the entire superstructure of this wreck has been removed. But there are a couple of cutouts here on the deck. So if we drop in this first cutout here, we can tell it's rather large, so there's a good safety margin all around us. We definitely don't need to be careful of getting hung up on anything. So we need to be very careful as we work our way through the wreck here. There's one more room we can kind of explore from the one we descended into. We need to be very careful of anything that's overhanging, that our gear and equipment can catch on. We need to watch out for any wires or anything like that we can get stuck on as well. There's a couple of cutouts on the deck above. We can see light coming in through, but they're too small for us to make a vertical ascent in. So we're going to be very careful in this room. Also not to stir anything up. If we kick anything, it's possible that we can lose and reduce our visibility to 0 so that we can't find our way out. It's a narrow passage here. Definitely don't do this without advanced wreck diving training. But we're going to find our way out and come back out the way we came. So coming out the top here, the deck, we're going to continue on down to the bow. The wreck is 144 feet long and faces east-west. We're going to go down to about 80 feet deep at the bow section. So coming around the bow here, we get a good view of the entire wreck. She's absolutely beautiful looking. You can see again that the entire superstructure is just missing and it has a flat deck from bow to stern. We're going to start our way back up to the stern section because we're getting a little low on air. We've had about a 50-minute dive down here exploring the wrecks. It's been fantastic, but it's time to head up. Alright, we're passing the stern section of the Suffolk Maid here again. We're going to begin our Descent on up to the shallow water. We're going to do a safety stop at 15 feet for 3 minutes on our descent line, and then pop up on the surface. Fantastic dive.
All right, we made it up back to the mooring bowl. We are going to take our float off, which thankfully is still up here, and start our kick in. Pretty amazing dive, but yeah, we got a ways to go to shore here, so we're gonna get at it. Okay, we're almost back to shore. another fantastic dive though. The shallow wrecks at Butler Bay are you know, one of the best dive sites I would say out here on St. Croix.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what's your favorite wreck down there?
Oh, I guess the Northwind, the first one, just all the interest and the growth and the fish on it.
Yeah.
And you're right there.
You're right there. Yeah, that's where the mooring ball is, so it's real easy to get right down to it. It's only in 40 feet.
Yep.
So it's an easily accessible wreck. You can
For sure.
certainly even see it right from the surface. The water is so clear. So
Yeah, today especially.
yeah, absolutely. It's a great day. What about you, Evan? What's your favorite wreck?
I think the habitat's pretty cool. It's just a unique thing out there that's just where people used to live down there and research.
Yeah. It was brought out here as a part of a replacement underwater habitat for the hydro lab that was out in Salt River for a time, but unfortunately they lost funding, so it got dismantled and part of it's sunk down here. But anyway, it still continues to serve a purpose as an artificial reef.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Pretty cool.
Cool. All right, well, the wrecks are definitely one of St. Croix's best dive sites. I think, hands down, we can certainly say that.
Yep.
Along with the pier, and if you haven't seen our video on the pier, definitely check that out. We'll link to that. And Cane Bay is probably at the top of the list. I don't know, there's so many.
They're so diverse here on St. Croix.
So
It's hard to pick a favorite.
it is hard to pick a favorite. Anyway, well, definitely make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the video here. Don't miss a dive. We do a video every week. And until next time, I don't know, stay safe and have fun diving. All right.